It's our first redraft fantasy football team review of the year.
Come on, baby.
We're looking at your redraft teams, not Dynasty, redraft, that's right. So if you want your team to be considered, join our Discord with the link in the description.
Come on.
We have a text channel called Redraft Team Grades. Every time you submit yours there with the screenshots, we will consider it for this video series. We're looking at the MightyBouch's team.
Shout out to
Little
you.
context. This is a 12-team league. It's redraft, obviously PPR. They are going to IR Brian Robinson when they can and pick up something juicy on waivers, or maybe finally pick up a kicker. So we have
So funny.
we have this team. I have it on my phone here. Badake has it as well in front of him. So let's just go position by position and talk about strengths and maybe what we might do a little bit differently. And let's start at the quarterback position. What are your thoughts here with Jalen Hurts and Kirk Cousins?
Yeah. I think it's a perfect quarterback room. Jalen Hurts, my QB4, Kirk Cousins, a top 12, fantasy quarterback, top 13 fantasy quarterback for the past couple of years. So to have him as your backup for that bye week, I think it's great. Actually, just to let you know, they both have the same bye week.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna say.
So that is a downside. But what you can do is maybe trade him away, maybe get some other piece, maybe get a running back, and then maybe just, I don't know, pick up another running back off the waiver wires, whatever the case may be, or get another wide receiver for the depth, because there's no point of having both of them. But I do believe the quarterback room is good if they didn't have the same bye week.
Yeah, same. I like the quarterback room. Jalen Hurts, I'm more than comfortable in redraft to have him as my main guy. And you're right. It's not going to be helpful that they both have the same bye week. But even in one quarterback leagues, you might be in a tough position because, again, there's people do they typically do not give up all that much on a backup quarterback.
Okay.
Most people in a 12-team league are going to have their quarterback by now. They're not really going to want to give up anything interesting for Kirk Cousins at this point because they already have a quarterback that they believe in. So in these one quarterback leagues, when you draft two quarterbacks, sometimes it does strap your ability to make trades. Even though it looks like an incredible value in the 13th, 14th round, you're like, oh, well, I'm probably not going to be able to trade this player.
No, exactly.
If you can, I do think that you can potentially package Kirk Cousins and David Njoku. See if you can upgrade. Is there an upgrade out there potentially that you could look for? I'm not saying that there is, but can you even go get a Cole Kmet? Someone Badake and I both really, really love and we have more confidence in than Njoku. Maybe not, but it's worth exploring. Let's look at the running backs here. So what are your thoughts on this running back room?
Yeah, Lenny, Elijah Mitchell with Brian Robinson, Breece Hall, and J.K. Dobbins. Just off the bat, just your first two starting running backs I really like. I like Lenny. I'm a believer in Elijah Mitchell and what's going to happen. And then J.K. Dobbins, I'm pretty sure you got him at a really good value to have Lenny, Elijah Mitchell, and J.K. Dobbins all on your team. And Breece Hall, actually. So
it's crazy. There's a lot of depth there.
There is a lot of depth, and this is exactly what you want on a team here. So now with Brian Robinson kind of not being in the mix and being in question for this year, whether he's out for the rest of the year or let's say for maybe half the season, then you still have good depth here, with Lenny, Mitchell, JK, and Breece. I personally wouldn't do anything different. There is one thing I would do different. I would field Breece out. Just to see what the community would think, because I'm not a massive believer in Breece specifically this year. I think I'm leaning more towards the community now, and the community has been saying, I don't know if Breece is going to take off. I love him in Dynasty. He's a top 5, top 6 guy for me. But right now, this year specifically, I'm kind of leaning on the side where I'm just not sure. So if you can get a Breece and somehow pivot, if you can move him and get a Breece has been going actually really high. Josh Jacobs and A.J. Dillon, maybe even Antonio Gibson right now with all the situations that's happening with Brian Robinson. Can you get a second guy and mind you, you're tearing down a lot, because according to 4for4 right now, Breece is the RB21. Guys like Gibson is a 25. Maybe get a Singletary, RB30. Chase Edmonds and RB33. That feels a lot more comfortable. I feel like their upside for now in the season before the season starts feels significantly higher. We could be wrong in the middle of the season, but that's the way I'm going right now.
No, I can respect where you're coming from. Breece to me, I think, is an incredible value in drafts. So I'm finding it hard to get on board there
for sure.
And I'm I'm going to advise you to sell someone that I think Badake wouldn't, which is Elijah Mitchell. I personally, like, understand where you're coming from. I love Breece Hall. I don't think I want to move on from him for those other guys, but I understand, your perspective. I want to move on from Elijah Mitchell because, again, someone who's being drafted in the 5th round, I think that gives you a lot of opportunity to go out and potentially move Elijah Mitchell. I more worry about Mitchell because I think that Trey Lance and Deebo Samuel and maybe another 49er running back could definitely eat into his touchdown opportunity on the goal line. Trey Lance is going to be used heavily on the goal line. You got Deebo, who has rushing incentives in his contract. So for me, I know that, you love Elijah Mitchell, but he would be the running back that I'm looking to move. I mean, can I package Kirk Cousins, Mitchell, and Njoku? Cousins maybe an 11th, 12th round pick. Mitchell maybe a 5th round pick in your draft. Can you maybe package Cousins, Mitchell, and Njoku and go get a Kyle Pitts who went in the 3rd or 4th this year? Can you make that move? I'm not saying that you could, but it's something that you could go out and look to do. Right. Could you trade Elijah Mitchell straight up for George Kittle? Because I think that's also another option that you could do and immediately improve your tight end position. So I think the most likely scenario is that Elijah Mitchell is the guy, but I don't think it's so clear cut that he's just going to get opportunities on the end zone compared to all these other players that have opportunities. And again, like this time last year, no one thought that Trey Sermon was not the guy. So it's hard to really put a lot of trust into 49er running backs. He would be the one that I'm looking to move. But again, I know we probably see that differently. So yeah, that's the kind of move that I would be looking to make of this running back room. Look, whatever resonates with you more, maybe go pursue that. But I think the bigger piece here is saying that you have flexibility in this running back room. You have a lot of flexibility,
which is fantastic, especially in a redraft league where your buys, if somebody goes down, whatever the case may be, there's good. And even if if Brian Robinson does come back some part of the year, you just added another guy that I believe could be. I mean, we'll see if he can finish at the time when he does come back, but could have really high upside every single week in and week out. So it's a really good running back room.
It really is, yeah. All right, wide receivers: Justin Jefferson, Michael Pittman, Mike Williams, Brandon Cooks, Elijah Moore, Kadarius Toney. I mean, I don't think you need to do anything. This is a great wide receiver room. If you have advice, go for it. But I mean, I'm riding with this receiver room into the season personally.
No, it's fantastic. All these guys. I mean, you got 2 top 15 of my wide receivers here. Elijah Moore's out there. You know how much I love Elijah Moore, and Kadarius Toney, another fantastic piece. So it's hard to even say anything. One thing I was going to say, I love Brandon Cooks, but if you really wanted to pivot, just to give you thought processes, maybe get another guy in it with a better quarterback somehow that's not just getting hyper targeted. Like maybe you can move on from Brandon Cooks. I didn't even bring a thought process. I'm just saying, like, that's a thought process you can go. If there's only one person you can move, I will maybe be potentially moving Brandon Cooks, but at the same time, I'm happy to keep him as well.
All right, let's look at the tight end position. Obviously, I would say this is the weakest spot on your team as a whole. And, there's obviously reasons to be optimistic because David Njoku was heavily targeted with Jacoby Brissett in that last preseason game.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think you have a lot of wiggle room here to potentially look at upgrades. I mean, Badake talked about Brandon Cooks. He is movable to upgrade at the tight end position. I would say, again, Elijah Mitchell for me is movable. Kirk Cousins is movable. Obviously, David Njoku, Kadarius Toney. These are all players that I think have real value out there that you can move. I'm not moving Breece. I know that Badake, is saying that you can. So you just have to see which way you lean. But I do think you can look to upgrade. Can you get a Kyle Pitts on this team? Can you go all out and get a Mark Andrews? If you can't do that, can you get a Cole Kmet? Can you get a Zach Ertz? Can you get a George Kittle, who people are undervaluing right now? Or maybe even a Darren Waller who just restructured his contract. So I think these are all options that you can potentially consider, but tight end is definitely the weakest spot for me at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, definitely keep an eye out on some of these guys potentially on your waiver wire as well. I mean, I do encourage you to try and go get a tight end, but I don't think the pivot is going to be massive. I guess when it comes down to like the community rankings, I mean, currently right now, David Njoku is the wide receiver 17, tight end 17, excuse me.
Are you looking on Dynasty though?
No, I'm not. I'm looking
okay.
on like the ADP like of what people are saying.
Okay.
So it's just I would say look out for like guys like Austin Hooper. Look out for guys like Hayden Hurst. That could be to have really spike weeks. But yeah, if you can package a Brandon Cooks, like I said, or anyone else and pivot just up a little bit more, we'll feel a lot more confident. But hey, maybe David Njoku in the second half of the season as well with Deshaun Watson coming back.
Yeah.
Could really take your team to the next level. That can be the turning point for your team if Deshaun Watson is heavily targeting David Njoku after his suspension. So keep an eye on that.
I mean, you can always hold pat and let's just see if Njoku gets enough targets to be relevant. That's definitely an option. So yeah, you got a lot of options here, a lot of wiggle room with this team. We graded each position. So your quarterbacks, I gave you an A plus, really. I mean, there's not really much more you could have done here at the quarterback room outside of maybe having like Josh Allen or something.
Yeah, same. I gave the quarterback room an A as well.
So the running back room, I gave a B plus. Again, that might seem a little harsh, but I don't look at this and see outside of Fournette like a true like elite back. I think Breece Hall has that upside. Same with J.K. Dobbins, but there are still question marks. There's a lot of depth, but how many guys are you going to be able to rely on? We think you're going to be able to rely on a lot, but we don't know for sure just yet. Exactly. So I gave it a B plus.
Yeah, I gave the running back room a B as well, just because of my thoughts on Breece Hall and what can happen. Yeah. And Brian Robinson, you kind of, in my eyes, it's like 1-2 less running backs where you still have them on your team, but that's how I'm seeing it.
Wide receivers, I gave an A plus. I thought that. I mean, what can I say? It's a great wide receiver room.
Yeah,
I think
that's
a strength.
100%. J.J. Pittman, Mike Williams, nasty.
And then the tight end is where it hurt your grade a little bit, which was a D minus. Only one tight end is David Njoku. We don't know what's. I mean, traditionally we haven't been able to rely on him, but maybe this is the year.
Yeah, I gave it a C minus. I like Njoku's upside at times. I think he's gonna have spike weeks, but yeah, only one tight end. Question mark quarterback. But once again, the second half of the season could really bring some good value for you.
Yeah. So overall, I gave this a B plus as a team. This to me, definitely in a 12-man league, you're going to be looking at competing for the playoffs. Now, if things go right for you and these running backs hit, you could definitely find yourself competing for a championship. But we need to see how that tight end position really pans out, because I imagine there will be someone who has an Andrews, a Kelsey, a Pitts that is in the playoffs, and that could be hard to overcome. But right now, I gave it a B plus.
Agreed. Same B plus. Feels really good. Really confident. Great job, honestly, in drafting, and you're killing it. To be completely honest, this is a nasty team. I would love to have this team.
In 12-man, I'm not sure how you managed this, but you did. So congratulations.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Go get a kicker. A lot of people are not drafting Will Lutz. I have him on my team, and that I need a kicker in. Go get Will Lutz. He's probably on the waiver wire. So anyway, I hope this is helpful. Comment down below what moves you would make for the MightyBouch's team. And if you agree or disagree with any of our takes, that's fine. Let us know.
Yo, what's good? Thanks for watching. We got a lot more videos.
A lot more.
If you want more videos.
Watch it.
You can also subscribe.
Right now.
If you want to.
You need to.
And lastly, don't forget that you can sign up to support the show and get exclusive content by going to patreon.com/FantasyLand fam.